what are some of the realities affecting brands today? There's a World Bank report done by the DFS lab. If you type in Google, fortune in the middle of the pyramid, fortune in the middle of the pyramid, you see the full report there. When I read this report 2 years ago, I was shook because that report says only 3.7 million Nigerians can spend 150,000 naira and above per month. Now, these figures were in dollars, so I don't even want to bring the dollar term of today into it. We will need to have this conversation. We'll probably go away depressed. So I'm staying with the dollar figure of 2020, December 2020 to be specific. That report also goes on to say that about 140 million of us spend 30K or less per month. And then everybody else is in between. And we're getting poorer every day. Some additional realities affecting some of the brands. Again, due to infrastructure, domestic supply chain will be poor. Our food inflation is around 60% today. Again, if you dive a bit into the food and agri, and you see what is going on around all of the value chain in there, it's terrible. In terms of labor, so people hiring, entry-level people will be very difficult because those that have experience will be asked to do do the job of 2 or 3 people because everybody wants to save money, everybody wants to be productive, and then what is also going on is that AI has come. So all of those fundamental itsy-bitsy things that you get entry-level people to come in and do, AI can do it easily for you. So you see people who ideally the office should be 10 people, there are today 4 or 5 max. Now, CBN, that people think is that is what will help us. CBN is just your money manager. Google CBN's, major role is just to manage your money. If you don't have money, there's nothing for CBN to do. They'll just keep on running helter-skelter, doing all these funny things. You see, this MPR first is the one that you increase your lending rate by 4%. Every single company in Nigeria, I'm sure they've all gotten letters. Once you have a loan, you'll get a letter from your bank saying your rates have been adjusted upwards. And I think the monetary policy will continue to rise to about 27% at the end of this year. God help us. Again, in terms of the bureau de change and all this, dollar this, dollar that, we're already managing our rates, even though they said we're floating it. Okay, let's agree that we're doing managed float. But then they've pegged the thing. They said it's the lower band of the executed spot rate, which means, at the foreign exchange market, whatever the rate is at the end of each day, that's the rate that they will sell dollars to BDC the following day. It's already a managed float. Because if you do not have money, which is dollars, which ideally should be coming from our oil, and you go and float, you don't know what you're doing. It's akin to a man that doesn't have money, but is trying to call Chief Commander Ebenezer Obey to come and play in his house. I mean, what are you relying on? Are you going to pay him with stones? You're going to run into problems. That's what's going on in Nigeria. A friend of mine called it monetary Viagra, because you're trying to use monetary policies to enable your tools, and you don't have, enough money to keep on siphoning into your Viagra. You see, before, dollar was coming in, so they were pumping it around, tripping it and stealing and all of that, and trying to keep the naira stable at 450 something. So now that they've devalued the thing, ideally, what they should be doing is focusing on productivity. You see, if you don't focus on productivity, your dollar will not come down. And if your economy is unstable because you don't have a good brand that you can at least model yourself around, no money will come into your system. Very little money will come into it. FMCG will remain under pressure due to the unstable foreign exchange rates. Packaged consumer goods will continue to suffer because, like I mentioned earlier on, there's inflation, there's hyperinflation, there's stagflation. So, we need to brace.